Discovering this one tip about the golf swing totally transformed my game, and it could well do the same for you. Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome to Get Good at Golf. On this channel we aim to help you get good at golf just one day at a time, and today we are talking not necessarily just irons, but we are talking big misses in the golf swing, big misses out on the course, big misses that could well cost you shots and cost you money with golf balls. You see, I went through a phase of hitting the golf ball left with every club in my bag, just like that one. Strike wasn't bad, felt okay. Why has that gone so far left? Why can't I square this club face up? Why can't I just hit straight golf shots? Now, there's a big reason for this, and until actually Chris helped me with this one. Do you remember helping me with this, Chris, years ago? I'm going to thank you for that. I'm going to thank you for that one, Chris, because it absolutely transformed my game. And what I worked out with the help of Chris here at Get Good at Golf was that you have to rotate the body correctly in order to square this club face up to the target and hit straight golf shots. Because if your club face isn't pointing at target at impact, you are not going to hit straight golf shots. You'll see that's much straighter, that's much closer to that line. How have I done that? So rather than getting to the top of the backswing and sliding towards the target, I've made sure that at the top of the backswing, I've rotated the hips and then I've sequenced correctly down into the ball. So in order to do that, you have to load up correctly. You have to make sure the backswing is a proper sequence as well. So I'm going to take the club away first with the shoulders, then I'm going to engage the body, set the club, then I'm going to rotate the hips, and then in the downswing, I'm going to do the exact opposite, sequence correctly. I'm going to rotate the hips, then the body, then the arms, then the club. You'll see how that sets up for a lovely impact position, and I should actually be able to hit a nice draw down the target line just like that. You see, one of the problems as well, guys, and more so with driver than irons, if you start to slow the body down, if you start to stall, that's where the big misses come in. And I can hit you one of these all day because it almost absolutely ruined my golf swing like that. I haven't rotated. The club face has then overtaken the hands. It's flipped over, and look how far left that has gone. Even with a good strike, I managed to strike it well. So keeping that rotation, keeping the speed allows you just to get that club face nice and square and hit it more on that target line. So in effect, what does that do to the golf swing? Why does it allow you to square that club face up to your target just because you are rotating correctly? So what happens, guys, is if you stop rotating the body, the momentum from here can't stop. So the club breaks down and you'll see how that then points left. So if I do that through impact, you'll see just how far left that ball actually goes. And if you do that with a driver or a less lofted club, you're really gonna struggle. But if I rotate properly, and I keep saying rotate properly, I'm not just turning the body, because if I do that, I can actually hit it out to the right there. And again, we don't want that two-way miss. We want to make sure the club is under control at all times. So if I rotate correctly and I get that left hip turning, that, you see how that creates room now for the hands to pass through. What's happening to that shaft? We're having that forward shaft lean. So where's that club face pointing? It is pointing at the target and it is under control because the handle is leading the club head. So if I then hit a shot like that, again, we should be able to hit a nice straight golf shot around that target line. Guys, now Chris is going to come and help you with a drill for this because he is, I can't even say it, the drill master.
Okay, so drill. James again has talked a great game, he's taught you through everything, but we haven't got a drill for you guys to practice. So we're going to give you one now. But for some people, you might not be able to rotate, you might be limited to what you can do. So I'm going to talk about that as well at the end to say what you maybe could do if you can't physically rotate. But we need an alignment stick, guys. What we're going to do is...
That's your pocket, mate.
That's my pocket. Thread it, can't see it over my veranda. Thread it through your belt buckles.
Are we all right?
We're in.
Right.
Right, so we've got that. You can also use this drill again to see where your hips are at the start. We saw in James's putting lesson on his video, he was setting up like this, although he didn't believe me. So if he had this in there, he would have seen that he was aiming 50 yards to the left. But what we can do is, like James said, we want to load up into the top of the backswing. You'll see that my hips will rotate. From here, as we come down, what we want to do is get into this position here coming into impact, where you'll see my hips are now square and the club is into a good delivery position. From here, I'm going to rotate and we're going to open those hips. And like James said, as you come into the golf ball then, hips are rotated, as you can see, chest is over the ball, and we now can put a lot of pressure onto that golf ball and get that starting straight. So that's a strong position, that's what the pros are going to see. They're not back here with the hips hanging back and the club with plenty of loft on it. Again, people say about getting your hips going from the top, we don't want to then get too much, so this is why this is a good drill for you. We don't want to see that your hips spin quickly, because that's when we then get the arms dropping in behind. I then can't hit it. We get stuck, we have to cast the club, and we come in with very much too much loft. So it's going very high, we're not getting the distance we want. So we want to get your hips working, but we can do this nicely in slow motion. Get to the top, bring it down into delivery, then have a little more of a swing, and you'll see there.
Oh, it's on the line. Oh, it pitched on the line.
Pitched on the line. We can do that at slow motion. I wouldn't recommend going at full speed unless you feel really confident, because you will start to, again, disclaimer, I don't want you to be breaking an alignment stick or getting injured, or your wrists or anything. If you get a smaller alignment stick, even if you had one that has already snapped, you might have hit it with a golf ball and it's in half, that will still work, so it'll give you some feedback. But again, you'll be able to get used to right up to the top. You'll see that you've turned your hips down into that impact position, everything's square, and then a little bit of a turn, and you'll see drawing nicely back to target. So perfect drill for you. Most people have an alignment stick. If you haven't, they are a great thing because they are useful for many drills. So hopefully you can get it into your belt buckle a little bit easier than I did. So guys, if you're somebody who has limited rotation, if you are somebody who is probably like myself, can't move that well, then what we want to do potentially is open up your hips to start with a little bit. The first thing you'll do is turn your left foot out, because that allows us to turn a little bit easier. So again, that's going to give us a little bit more hip mobility. But what we can also do is drop that right foot back. So we can have your feet alignment open, but we want to make sure that your shoulders stay square. This is going to obviously dictate your swing path. So it's not the feet that's going to dictate that, but if your shoulders do match, you will cut across it. But if you need some help turning, drop that left foot back. Make sure your shoulders are square to target. And we'll still be able to hit shots. Started ever so slightly right, drew back, even though my stance was open. It'll make it easier for you to get through, it'll give you a little bit more speed, and it'll help you return the club with a little bit less loft off, get you some more distance, and help you get good at golf. So guys, hopefully that drill will help you out. Everything James said, as always, was fantastic information. That provided you with a drill. See you tomorrow.
The Drill Master.